The Source, Power Player of the Week.
When Chicago and Detroit met in the 1989 Eastern Conference Finals, Jordan was determined that the Pistons and their Jordan rules could not stop him. But it was Detroit's team defense and the Piston guards who imposed their will on the series. Detroit's victory in 6 games would propel them to their first NBA title and rattle the confidence of the Bulls.
I remember in '89 when I was really frustrated about how this team was playing from Jordan rules to try to double and triple team me and make other players hurt them. And we knew what was happening, but yet we still didn't make them pay for that.
But Chicago was hoping that the experience of 1989 could help them the following season as they once reached the Eastern Conference Finals, this time pushing Detroit to a decisive 7th game.
I thought opportunity to get over this mountain, this hurdle that seemed to have been in the way for the last 3 years.
Let's go all team for this guy. Let's play hard. Leave it all on the floor. Let's go.
But Detroit had different ideas.
I thought it would be a cakewalk of a game. They just weren't strong enough mentally to compete at the level that we were competing at.
This was right. The Bulls weren't ready, and the Pistons blew them out.
Bulls can't buy a basket. The lead is 20.
It's one of those situations where at certain points you think, I don't know if we can beat this team.
Jordan could not beat the Pistons by himself, and Scottie Pippen was a non-factor, falling victim to a migraine headache.
It was just one of those things where you went, they don't have it. It's something here or here that they haven't figured it out yet.
It's over. The Pistons return to the NBA Finals for the straight time.
When we lost that game, I got on the bus, and I remember my father coming on the bus, and I'm back yelling and screaming, and he's doing all his best to try to calm me down and say, it's only a game, you would be given another opportunity. And I'm saying, well, we've been given so many opportunities, we're not going to get as many as you may think.
But Jordan and the Bulls would use their Game 7 defeat as motivation for the upcoming season.
In 1990-91, our whole focus were on Detroit. No one else made a difference.
And the team as a whole resolved to change their approach to Detroit in both body and mind.
This was a playground type team that played a very disciplined, organized game that was very, very physical. So the involvement as a coach was, you got to go away from pressure.
Phil very much tried to reinforce with us that if they hit us, you went away from it. There's something else available to you.
Jackson emphasized a team game, and it would pay off during the 1991 regular season, as the Bulls would finally finish with a better record. The ultimate test for the Bulls, however, would come once again in the conference finals.
We felt this is the chance to make them back down or shake our hands. So it was a feeling. But then when the games came, it was unbelievable nervousness, too.
The Bulls were anxious to prove that they had learned their lessons well and began dismantling Detroit from the outset.
First thought I thought after the first 2 games, I thought we're in trouble because he's figured out how to play now. Once he started using his teammates and still getting 30, it almost became impossible to beat him.
Jordan was not the only player who had figured out how to beat the Pistons, as a more determined and mature Pippen had emerged as well.
Yes, and it counts.
Chicago would no longer be intimidated by Detroit, baited into confrontation.
A beautiful backdoor pass for Pippen, and he is walloped. He knew he was going to get hit.
They understood that no matter what we threw at them, when we hit them hard, when we talked garbage to them in the paper or in front of them, none of our antics were finally working.
But we learned that it took a little bit more than just, desire. We had to use our minds. We had to outthink the other team.
And he comes up shooting. It's in. Oh, Johnny Paxson.
Time is running out on this Detroit championship era.
It's Chicago in a sweep.
After all the losses and the frustration, sweeping them and winning on their home court was about as good as it got.
Chicago's emphatic victory signaled the end of Detroit's run. But even in defeat, the Bad Boys managed to keep the rivalry alive by refusing to shake Chicago's hands as the game ended.
They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9/10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
We were only doing what had been done to us when we beat Boston. Their starting five just left. They just walked out of the building.
They couldn't stand the fact that they could see us win on their court.
And we're not going out as demoralized. We're going out as we had just finished an accomplishment of a run that was unprecedented in the Piston history. We're very proud of it.
It just gave us more energy. And I think from that time on, I think we won 24 straight against Detroit, and we're not going to let them beat us anymore.
The Pistons would never challenge the Bulls again, but Detroit's 4-year battle with Chicago would prove invaluable in molding the Bulls into 6-time NBA champions.
The hurdles were very, very difficult, but I'm very happy that we went through those circumstances because it taught us to understand what winning was all about.
You know what they say, that familiarity breeds contempt? And that certainly was true of the Bulls-Pistons rivalry. That mutual dislike was one of the things that made those playoff series so intriguing. For those who watched Detroit against Chicago, or any of the other great rivalries, what will always stand out is the passion and the emotion they generated. In going head-to-head with everything on the line, the NBA's arch rivals have always brought out the best in each other, and they provided the league's most unforgettable moments. I'm Charlie Steiner.
The trophy history of the Raptors. This is the